We start with another news video, and we got news on the draft as well as Raw last night. But we start with the more potential call-ups for the draft, because the draft starts this Friday night on SmackDown, and it is the first draft under Triple H where apparently the creative direction for Hunter will be put into position to finally start to take shape, and the draft will help shape the next future or the near future of WWE. Which also, I think it is fair to say that the draft will shape WWE's future within the next generation, as WWE under Endeavor will be shaped through this draft. But Cora Jade and Joe Gacy are two people that are rumored to be potential call-ups in the WWE draft this Friday, with both Cora Jade and Joe Gacy competing on Main Event this week. In my opinion, I would say that Gacy and Cora Jade are two people in NXT currently that have a lot of potential because of character work to make their way up to the main roster and make a big impact. But, how do I put this? Triple H in a position of power, and solely Triple H in a position of power, I have faith in Hunter to take care of the women's division. With Vince McMahon having his say and Vince McMahon throwing his 2 cents in, I still think that the women's division will be undersold, because I don't think Vince values the women's division, or I think Vince values the women's division as much as he values the tag team division, which is not much or not at all. Simple as that. So do I think that people in that division will be valued as well as they should be? Absolutely not. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Cora Jade should be getting a world title shot right out of the gate. It just means that if you want her to be viewed in the same light as she was in NXT, or having the opportunity to step forward and continue to expose her potential, then you actually have to give her the opportunities that she was getting in NXT on the main roster as well. And if you don't do that, then guess what? She will not continue to improve, and you'll wonder where that potential went that she showed in NXT when she makes the move to the main roster. And I'm not saying Joe Gacy should start the schism again on the main roster, but giving Joe Gacy the opportunity to talk, giving Joe Gacy the opportunity to show his charisma is exactly what the company should do, because it gives Joe Gacy the opportunity to show why he is unique. I think both Joe and Cora Jade are two talents that potentially could make a big impact on the main roster. Speaking of the WWE draft, there are rumors, according to PW Mania, that the WWE draft could see brand exclusivity return. I'm just hoping that if brand exclusivity returns, it does not bring back pay-per-views like Survivor Series under Vince McMahon, and we stick with more Survivor Series under Triple H last year, where the pay-per-view was 100 times better than it ever was under Vince McMahon in the last 2 decades. Because brand exclusivity, the idea of brand warfare shouldn't exist, because nobody gives a damn. Simple as that. There is not a fan that watches WWE and thinks, I prefer SmackDown versus Raw, and what worked 10, 15 years ago does not work anymore, because nobody cares about brand exclusivity anymore. And that just shows that if you think brand exclusivity is a big deal, then you are long disassociated with the people that watch your product. It's that simple. But premium live event, brand exclusive premium live events could be returning to WWE after this draft. With it's unclear what pay-per-view would be the next brand or the first brand exclusive event, but because of lack of ticket sales, they stunted the idea of brand exclusive pay-per-views back in 2018, with the February events being the last brand exclusive events, that being Elimination Chamber and Fastlane respectively. But the fact of the matter is, basically the only way the only way that the premium live events would work as brand exclusive premium live events is if you get the emotional investment from the fans and you slowly tell stories to where fans want to be a part of those stories and want to watch the stories progress and wants to watch the stories pay off on pay-per-view. If they don't, then you won't. And you'll just go back to having full WWE pay-per-views. I will say that in my opinion, with AEW more than likely welcoming a brand split of their own, I highly doubt that this means AEW is going to go from having 4 to 5 pay-per-views a year to having 10 or 12 pay-per-views a year. I think more than likely they're just going to keep the pay-per-view calendar that they have, and they're not going to overexpose their pay-per-view market. They're just going to stick with what they got and what's been working. And I think WWE should do the same thing. I don't disagree that having brand exclusivity makes the most sense. I disagree with separating them to the degree that they're not even together at pay-per-views makes the most sense. Because it didn't work the last time, so why would it work this time? But it worked the first time because they took the time to tell the stories and keep the brands separate. But it wasn't also the fact that they kept the brands separate. It was the fact that they told interesting enough stories to keep the fans watching. Also, if you're paying attention to Impact Wrestling, there is said to be a major surprise planned for their big event this Friday, Slugfest 2023. Major surprise planned for Impact Wrestling, so stay tuned for that this Friday. Impact Wrestling Slugfest. Spring Slugfest 2023. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one.